for the pièce de résistance, we are going to now come to our speaker. Let me say a few words about him. In 1993, he acquired his Bachelor of Arts in Economics from the University of British Columbia, Canada. In 1994, he was elected to the board of Manila Mining Corporation, and in 2011, he was elected President and COO of Manila Mining. In 1997, he was elected Director, Senior Vice President, and CFO of Lepanto Consolidated Mining. And in 2003, he became President and COO. In 1997, he was elected President of Lepanto Investment and Development Corporation. He is President now of Kalayaan Copper Gold Resources, Incorporated. He is a Director of Far Southeast Gold Resources. He enjoys a lot of travel. If you follow him on Facebook, you will get a very nice travelogue. And posts of excellent photographs. So he's also a photographer. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hats together and join me to welcome the President and COO of Lepanto Consolidated Mining Company, Bryan Yap.
Thank you very much, Leo. Honorable ambassadors, friends from the Chamber of Mines, and members of the Philippine Mining Club, good afternoon. First of all, I would like to thank the Philippine Mining Club for this invitation to be the guest speaker on your opening season for 2019. I am truly grateful. For the last 8 years, most news about mining was negative. From moratorium in the processing of permits, to expansion of the no-go zones, to the proposed quintupling of excise tax, the multiple audits by the DNR and independent parties, not to mention the suspensions and cancellations of MPSAs, and the ban on open-pit mining. Being an industry player in the Philippines has been extremely tough. There were a few positive developments in between, thanks to the environmental achievements, operational successes, international awards, and CSR activities of some mining companies. So it has generally been an uphill battle. In the case of Lepanto, there was the added challenge of confirming the renewal of our MPSA, the same MPSA subject of a partial conversion to FTAA pursuant to our agreement with our joint venture partner on the Far Southeast project, which I will also discuss shortly. There are also metallurgical issues in our newly opened quartz pyrite gold, or QPG veins, associated with our old Energite mine, which make turning around to profitability quite elusive. But we persevere because we have responsibility to our various stakeholders, and there is certainly a bright future ahead of us. Between that future and now, what is there to be done? That is the subject of my speech today. Let me talk briefly about the Philippine mining industry and what we are facing today. From the start of the Aquino administration until the present, the policy direction of government has shifted from promotion to extreme regulation. The reason for this shift, apparently, was the misperception of government and the public that the mining industry was not paying government its fair share in taxes. Because of this, President Aquino issued Executive Order Number 79, which practically put the whole mining industry to a halt with a moratorium in the processing of mining permits, the expansion of the no-go zone, and altering some of the priority provisions of the Mining Act. At the start of the Duterte administration, thanks to the previous DNR secretary, the mining industry was demonized as destroyers of the environment and subjected to multiple audits with the intention to suspend and close mines. So we are where we are. What's next? Well, we have a current DNR secretary who is quite open-minded and a champion to responsible mining. The best thing that can happen to our industry is the reversion from a policy of regulation to one of promotion, starting with the lifting of the moratorium on the issuance of mineral agreements. This is in fact the first function of the state in respect of mineral resources, as stated in Section 2 of the Mining Act, which apparently has been forgotten or shelved. And I quote, "It is the responsibility of the state to promote the rational exploration, development, utilization, and conservation through the combined efforts of government and the private sector in order to enhance national growth in a way that effectively safeguards the environment and protects the rights of affected communities." End quote. All large-scale mining companies, especially the Chamber of Mines members, have been ISO 14001 certified and have undergone the MICC audit conducted last year. These are proof of our compliance with environmental laws. There should be a move once again to actively promote the exploration, development, and utilization of the natural resources in our country. When this happens, we can expect investments in the sector to increase, and with such, better employment figures, especially in Luzon and Mindanao, where most mines are located. We can expect higher mining output, mineral exports, foreign exchange earnings and GDP growth, and a more manageable trade deficit, which is a major issue right now. But the wish list for our economy is long. We need not only growth, but inclusive growth. We need foreign investments to be able to catch up with the development of other economies in our region. We need to be less dependent on the earnings of OFWs, as it is but an indication of our inability to provide jobs to our own countrymen. We need to increase our exports to be able to afford the country's ever-growing imports. We need more infrastructure such as roads, bridges, rails, better and bigger airports, better connectivity. So many desirables have been eluding us for so long. Opening mining up again can very well allow us to achieve some of these goals. We are hoping that the moratorium will be lifted when there is in place new legislation rationalizing the existing revenue sharing schemes and mechanism, which was a condition under Executive Order number 79. And Ronnie has explained the details of that. As we all know, such legislation was not a priority in the previous Congress. Thus, we saw several versions of revenue sharing measures in various bills, ranging from unreasonable to scary during the last Congress. Fortunately, none of them was passed into law. You will recall that Trade 1 that took effect early last year has doubled the excise tax on minerals to 4%. Honestly, that hurt, especially for companies who are operating at low margins. We had hoped that such doubling of tax was going to move the President to lift the moratorium on the issuance of mineral agreements. As soon as we realized that that was not going to happen, the Chamber of Mines lost no time in cooperating with Congress towards the promulgation of another scheme to increase government's income from mining operations. In October last year, the House of Representatives approved House Bill 8400 entitled An Act Establishing the Fiscal Regime for the Mining Industry. The terms are reasonable, as explained, thanks to the efforts of our Chamber leadership in convincing the Department of Finance and the House Committee on Ways and Means that no other scheme will work if the goal is to increase the government's take in absolute terms. No such increase will be effective without increasing the tax base that is possible only through an increase in mining investments and mineral output in the country. Although the industry succumbed to the imposition of royalty on mineral output, its position is that any royalty shall be margin-based rather than an outright cut from gross income. The industry proposed and the House approved a windfall profit tax to further increase the government's take when metal prices are high. The Senate has yet to approve its own version or otherwise adopt the House version. Hearings are ongoing, and I understand that Congress and Malacanang wants this revenue sharing scheme passed by the Congress. Now let me talk about Lepanto. We have been mining underground responsibly in the municipality of Mangkayan, Benguet for 82 years since 1936, almost uninterrupted as we continued producing even during the war. We can only account, however, for our production starting 1948. From 1948 to 1996, when Lepanto suspended its copper production due to depressed copper prices, the Energite copper gold mine produced a total of 1.58 billion pounds of copper, 2.9 million ounces of gold, and 12 million ounces of silver from 34.4 million tons of ore, averaging grades of 2.25% copper and 3.5 grams per ton gold. Following the suspension of the Energite mine, Lepanto started production from its Victoria gold deposit in 1996, which to date has produced over 1.4 million ounces of gold. In 2015, as copper prices started to pick up, Lepanto embarked on an extensive underground drilling program to define the remaining resources of the old Energite and evaluate the feasibility of resuming copper operation. The drilling program resulted in the discovery of a mineable gold-bearing quartz pyrite vein, which referred to as QPG, or quartz pyrite gold deposit. The remaining Energite and the QPG deposit have confirmed resources of over 9 million tons with average grades of 1.84 grams per ton gold and 0.85% copper. In addition, the far southeast ore body, a world-class porphyry deposit discovered in the 1980s, lying almost a kilometer below the surface, has a published inferred mineral resource of 891.5 million tons with grades of 0.5% copper and 0.7 grams per ton gold. This is equivalent to 19 million ounces and 9.92 billion pounds of copper, or a gold equivalent of 43 million ounces. This is more than 6 times the amount of gold and copper profitably mined by Lepanto from 1948 to 1996. Why are any of these discoveries significant? Geologically, it has always been believed that our Energite and Victoria mines originated from the FSE ore body. However, in 2016, studies undertaken by PhD researchers and professors from Akita University and Kyushu University of Japan, Western University of Canada, and University of Tasmania, Codes of Australia, have confirmed the existence of porphyry deposits underneath the Energite and QPG epithermal deposits other than the far southeast, including the Buaki and the Bulalakaw porphyry deposits, to name 2. Such existence is evidenced not only by the copper and gold assays from these porphyry deposits, but also by the geological and geochemical characteristics of the Energite and QPG deposits presently being mined by Lepanto, which indicate that these were mineralized from different porphyry sources. To many of you, this information is purely academic. For us in Lepanto, the information is significant. It assures us not only of resurgence but of longevity. Lepanto will be very well placed as the global demand for copper increases in the coming decades. How far are we from operating the far southeast? To be frank, I cannot tell. The Energite, far southeast, and Victoria are all under one MPSA, the very first ever issued in this jurisdiction. Many months before the end of the first term of our MPSA in March 2015, we applied for its renewal. The MGB Cordillera Administrative Region officially advised us that we have substantially complied with the requirements for the renewal of the MPSA, save for the free and prior informed consent, or FPIC, and certification precondition requirements under the IPRA law. We believe that those requirements should not be imposed on us because under Section 32 of the Philippine Mining Act, our MPSA was to be renewed under the same terms and conditions. We ended up in arbitration. We were upheld by the arbitrators and later by the Court of Appeals. We cannot tell when the case will be terminated or if a further appeal will be made by government. In the meantime, Lepanto continues operating under that MPSA. We are producing gold bullion and copper gold concentrate. Victoria contributes very little now to our production as mining therein has become inefficient. We started mining the QPG in late 2017 and had hoped for a turnaround to profitability. We are currently resolving some metallurgical issues on the QPG. We are also completing the upgrade of our mill. Already, we have increased our daily tonnage to over 2,000 tons per day from less than 1,000 in 2017. Things are getting better, but admittedly, not yet at the desired pace. While we are trying to improve operational efficiencies, our commitment to our community and other stakeholders have not wavered. We continue to do large reforestation programs by planting trees and propagating seedlings. We maintain best international practice for our tailings pond. We support our community with various livelihood projects. We put up a TESTA-accredited technical school in Mangkayan, Benguet to equip our community with skills for their livelihood, not necessarily mining related. We are proud to say that Lepanto was the first mining company in the country to establish an engineered sanitary landfill. We are also the first to become PCB-free. Our industry has one of the widest footprint in terms of social responsibility. Every time I bring guests to the Lepanto mines, the feedback I constantly get is a sense of awe in terms of the scale of the area and of the operation. Of course, we are running a whole town. Just within the area where Lepanto operates, we have 3 elementary schools, 1 national high school, a Catholic church, 2 Iglesia Ni Cristo churches, an Anglican church, a golf course, a community hall, a community library, a PhilHealth accredited hospital, just to name a few. We provide free medical, dental, and surgical services to our employees and their dependents. Our industry is also the most misunderstood industry. It is therefore incumbent upon us to educate the public of the good things mining can do for the community and our country, who is good, both in our operations and in our community. So far, we have been successful in bringing media personalities, some influencers, photographers, doctors to the site. We will continue to do this. My goal is to spread the word. So despite all the challenges the industry faces, why do we continue to persevere? Because we know we do things right. Because we are passionate about our industry. Because we believe in our mineral deposit and because we love our community. Let me end this talk by sharing with you a short film about 3 people who call Lepanto home. Thank you very much for listening.
Kung wala itong mina na pinagtrabahoan ko po ng Lepanto, siguro iwan ko lang kung kung nakatapos yung mga anak ko o hindi. Kasi dito po, mga pag-aaral ng mga bata, libre, lahat ng school service, lahat ng facilities, housing, na libre po. Ang nagustuhan ko dito kasi dito rin ako lumaki, inaano ko na dito, taga rito na ako parang immigrant na po ako dito. Yung father ko po, nagtrabaho rito. Mga kapatid ko, nagtrabaho rito. Dito rin ako lumaki, nag-aral ng elementary, high school, hanggang nag-college po.
Pagpasok ko pa lang actually ng company, makita mo ang ganda. Well-secured yung area. Pagpasok mo, puro pine trees. Ang ganda na. May golf course. Tapos makikita mo, kompleto siya. Makita mo yung mismo community. Siya, may schools, hospital, may library, different churches. Maganda, talaga well-maintained. Siya, nakita mo yung talagang concern ng company sa tao. Kung gaano nila alagaan yung employees nila. And not only yung employees, syempre yung dependents. So, ang plan ko lang is stay here for 2 years para habang nag-aaral ka, nagpe-prepare for those exams. After nun, Pag nakapasa na, aalis na ako. Pero kasi dito parang ang hirap nang umalis. Yun nga, because of the company itself, and syempre because nakapangasawa na rin ako dito. Dinala ko yung family ko dito, yung friends ko. Kasama ko nung last medical mission. Sabi nila kasi, lagi nila sabi, ba't wala ka dito sa Manila? Nandito kami lahat. After nilang pumunta dito, sabi nila sa akin, Case, alam ko na kung bakit ka nandito.
In mayak dito idi 1983 nga nag-apply akas may nga maker. Yay nagtrabaho akas maker nga 5 years. Di ko makita na siguro ti trabaho. Isura ito yung naabot ko na ito yung posisyon ko. Ang padak nga may nga purman. Idi 2012. Idi 2017 December. In promote dakmot man nga idi 8. Ti makit-kitak nga nagbayagak dito jay anos ko nga nagtrabaho in pagkitak iti kayat nga tumulong iti pagtrabahuak isungandak nga palubusan siguro nga kasjay ti kabayag ko nga nagiiyan dito jay nakwakmot dito nga posisyon ko uray wanalpas ko grade 6 lang ngam siguro jay makita da nga trabaho nakatsap ko mo dito nga posisyon nga ED8 Assistant Superintendent. Kan siyak kunak nga rod may saat nga pubri isu tinamnama laeng. Ito lang Lepanto tinang padasak ti kwa. Nagtrabaho wak nga nabyagan ti pamilya. Sungan wadak siguro jay ili yak amu. No nag-eskwela ti pamilya ko inuhaan.
The message that we wanted was to, we changed our messaging before. Initially in 2017, our message on what the way we boosted in our in the social media is our focus was about the environment, because that was the height of the time when people were talking about the environment, about us being polluters of the environment, things like that. So last year, we shifted our focus more on stories of people, you know, what creates appetite or interest from the public. Because my view is that the public doesn't understand what we do, and the public is, even my family don't understand what we do. Because although they've been there, they went there once or twice, but they still don't fully grasp it. So government officials are in the same boat. The secretary is in the same boat. The president is also in the same boat. So it's creating interest, so they become interested in something, so that they would want to know more about it. That's sort of the direction that I was looking at when we were making these stories. I mean, you say that I have a lot of photos that I post and things like that, where people look at it and about the company and things like that. Honestly, the biggest interest that I got are photos of weeding that has nothing to do with mining, or photos of the golf course where it has nothing. So all you need is just that interest, where you get their attention, and then they say, "What is this? Why is there weaving here?" And then you sort of try to get them interested to learn more about it. Then you bring them there. That's sort of a thing that we have to encourage in some way, because that's, if it's just us that's talking, we don't really change the mind of other people.
I think people who grew up in the mines understand that very well. I think Ambassador Albert, you kind of grew up in Baguio with the mines, and Ron Residoro grew up in Marinduque as a child of a mining employee for a mine. So they understand the stories of families that have lived in the mines for sometimes generations. I thought that was actually holding back some tears for the first guy. He was really very good. Any questions from the audience? Yes, one over there.
Hi, Ryan Kent from Reflex. Thanks for the presentation. Very good. Nice to see the Lepanto golf course up there. I've played it a few times. It's very difficult. But I had a couple of questions on the far southeast deposit. Obviously, before the drilling finished up there, some of the deepest drill holes were still mineralized at great depths. I just wondered if and when things progress at far southeast, would there be any plans to continue exploration on that kind of scale, what was happening before? Or have you guys kind of firmed up the resource to the extent that you guys are happy with it? Thank you.
The drilling that was done when we signed the option agreement was over 100 plus kilometers of drilling that was done already. You are right that even as the deepest depth that we drilled, it's still mineralized. But at that time, it was really just to get to a portion, to get a resource going. And I think we have more than enough to actually come up with something together. So potentially, if there's going to be some drilling, it would be to more definition of the current deposit, because if we're looking at mining at a smaller scale, we have to look at the higher grade portion of the deposit, and then we need to get more resolution on those areas.
We have a lot of people here who are suppliers of equipment and all of that. I think they'd like to know what I would like to know. How much mine life is there to mine out that far southeast gold project?
Well, the life of the far southeast will exceed the term of the property. Yes, it's definitely 50 years or more than 50 years. What we just need to do is start.
Guys, you need to get ready with your equipment to sell to the far southeast gold. You're going to be needing it for more than 50 years. You've explained to us what's going on in far southeast gold. What is your best estimate for when you can start mining on this project?
That's a very tough question, especially if you're working in the Philippines and this jurisdiction. Only thing I can say is that when we signed the deal with Goldfields, the first thing that we had to do was to do a conversion of a portion of our MPSA into FTAA. One of the requirements was to undergo an FPIC process, or free and prior informed consent. We did that. It took us longer than we had expected, and the time frame was, I think it took us about 3 years to complete it. So we got a MOA, but as of now, when it was submitted to the government agency, NCIP, it has not moved. In the meantime, it has reached the expiry of the existing MPSA. So now we are waiting for a final resolution of the renewal of the MPSA before things can start moving on the FSE. Although on the technical side, there was a lot of work that was done initially when we signed the deal. We were looking at operating it under a bulk approach of getting the ore body, as much of the ore body as possible. But there was some work that is also currently being done about mining it on a smaller scale operation, perhaps around 3 million tons per annum of operation. So we're still there. We're still in the works.
Well, thank you. Questions being formulated. I have one. If you were at the MICC and you had the opportunity to make a recommendation to the government, what would be the top 2 or 3 recommendations that you would articulate on behalf of industry?
I think I said it already in my speech. I only have one recommendation because with government, everything moves forward based on just a particular statement. I think if there is just a statement that says we are moving our industry from regulation to promotion, or we're going to start promoting this industry, that's it. And then the action will follow, but the world will believe it. And that's really it, because there's no statement that's coming from government that says they're going to be starting to promote this industry, and that has to come from the president, of course.
I think what the state or the government has to understand is that a mining project is a project of the state. You are just a contractor. They should be pushing you to move, not you pushing the government to make you move. So it's a mindset, and I think that it's an uphill battle, but we keep trying to get the government to understand that all mining projects are projects of the state. And so therefore, the sooner a mining project gets moving, the sooner the government is able to earn from the project and provide jobs, etc. Anyway, we're preaching to the choir here. Yeah. So please join me by putting your hands together to show our deep appreciation to Bryan for the time that he has spent with us today.